Hey there, Chef D. Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. I am super stoked to be back in the studio, and today I'm making with you a broccoli tofu scramble. I'm having a really kind of a busy day, and I just finished meditating because that's what I have to do lately to keep myself feeling sane. So I'm hungry. After I sat for a little bit and breathed, I'm ready to eat something, and I love this broccoli tofu scramble because you can use it any time of day. It's a meal for breakfast, lunch, or even dinner, and you can pair it with a lot of different vegetables and things like that. So let's get started. I want to tell you that this recipe comes straight out of my Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. This is issue number 7, and I really hope that you'll consider downloading it. It's a really wonderful month-long resource for you. You can use it really at any time throughout the year because these recipes are kind of using ingredients that you can get any time of year and pretty much any time anywhere around the world, these ingredients. And the cool thing about this book is that it comes with week by week a grocery list so that when you get into the recipes, you're super prepared. You can get in and out of the grocery store or the supermarket or the farmer's market super easily. And let's get started. If you have any questions along the way, please let me know. So I'm making broccoli tofu scramble here. I'm going to keep this right on my screen, and I'm going to do a split screen with my overhead. And first things first, we need a little bit of oil. Hi, Jennifer, and hi, Karen. All right, so today I'm going to use olive oil, but I'm going to show you the difference. I like to use olive oil when I'm cooking things that want a little extra flavor. So a little olive oil here. You could use avocado oil, though, if you wanted a little less flavor. I'm going to add some to the pan. I'm using a saute pan here that's non-stick. I'm doing really well, Jennifer. How are you? It's good to have you guys. All right, so a little bit of oil. Now, if you're whole food plant-based, meaning you don't do any oil, salt, or sugar, you can keep the oil out and you can actually just water saute these vegetables, okay? All right, so I'm gonna get that going. Now, first thing that I wanna use and prep is my onion and any other vegetables. So you can use mushroom, and today, instead of mushroom, because I couldn't find it, I'm gonna use bell pepper. So a little shallot and a little bell pepper. So I'll start with the bells, and I love these baby bells. They're really beautiful. Hi, Cindy. And it's really, really beautiful time of year to get these bell peppers, although you can get them kind of any time of year if they're greenhouse grown, but certainly throughout the winter. And I love these orange bells. These are really super nutrient dense. Can you guess which of the bell pepper colors has the most nutrients? The green, the orange, or the red? Any guesses? Now, while you guess, I'm just going to take out the ribs and the seeds here because I don't want this overly spicy, although bell peppers tend to be a little bit sweet and not spicy, but just in case you're making this for kids or family members that don't like any heat at all, remove those ribs. That's where most of the heat is going to be. Most people think it's in the seeds. It's actually in the ribs, and the ribs are these like the white veins here. So I'm just kind of pulling my knife through the ribs and the seeds and pulling them off. All right, Cindy says red. You're super close. The other colorful, and the other bright color, it's the orange bell pepper, the one we're using today. All right, Eliza says red as well. Okay, you guys win. Ladies, you win. It doesn't matter. The red comes close second, and you know that the bright colored vegetables and fruits are the most nutrient dense if they have vibrant colors. That's one of the indicators. I don't like that you can see my my laptop. Let me pull that. There we go. All right, so the orange is going to be the most nutrient dense, and you know that because it's super bright and colorful. And we can kind of just remember that when we eat the rainbow, we're going to feel our best. Eating the rainbow is kind of like good mood food, right? It's going to help us to feel great. All right, so add these bells right to the saute pan. Now let's get the onion going. All right, I'm going to use shallot today, but you can use green onion, scallions. You can use red onion, sweet onion, white onion. It doesn't matter. But because I'm just making this dish for me, I don't need that much. So a really nice big shallot is perfect. It's going to give you just enough onion flavor, but not overpower the dish. And sometimes I think shallot is actually more mild than any of the other onions, so I really like it. And I'm just going to pull the first layer of skin right off, so you get all that papery skin. I'm going to grab a garbage bowl. And this is all going to go in my compost. I've been making great compost lately, and I'm new to gardening. I know that a lot of you here on the line are like pro gardeners, especially edible gardens. I'm super new to it, but I got to tell you, this organic compost that I've been cultivating for the last year, since the beginning of COVID, is super amazing. It has a ton of worms in it now. It's really good stuff, and I've been using it for herbs and things like that in my garden, and boy, it makes the stuff grow super fast. I love it. All right, so you can see in my saute pan, I'm going to do a full screen. All right, here you can see with me. Now, what I always talk about is seasoning as we go, so I'm going to add a little bit of crushed black pepper. This is Telecherry black peppercorn, and a little salt. And while this cooks, let's talk about tofu. Let's talk tofu, peeps. All right, so today I'm using sprouted tofu. I'm going to show you in the overhead cam. This is the organic sprouted tofu that I like. It comes 2 in a pack, and this is really great. Each block is about 8 ounces, and what you want to do is actually open it up. I'm going to use a paring knife, and I'm going to drain all of this liquid out. Great. And now I just need to drain it out a little bit. I don't need to press it or anything. If you want this to be used for, if you want this tofu to be used for sauteing or crisping, that's when you would want to press out most of the water. But just releasing the water from the container, this is just fine for our scramble. And I use sprouted tofu because it is more bioavailable, the nutrients within, when it's sprouted like that. So it's actually better for us. And it tastes, I think it tastes even better. It has like a really great flavor. It's almost nutty, and I really like that. Tofu to me, plain tofu that's unsprouted, is really kind of too plain for my palate. So I like to know that I can kind of adjust it however I want. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I have these cooked down. I can tell these are nice and cooked down because the shallots are translucent enough. I'm going to show you in the overhead. And the bells are starting to get kind of just like brown bits. So I love that. They're creating a lot of sook, which is really great flavor. And now I'm going to add my last vegetable. This is par cooked, but it is broccoli. All right. I wanted to par cook the broccoli so that this could come together quickly. And I'm using rapini today, which is a blend of a dark leafy green and a broccoli. It kind of looks like both. And it has these beautiful dark leafy green stems and then the florets. And I'm going to add this right to my veggies. I add this just the last moment here because I don't want to overcook the broccoli or rapini. You can use any kind of cruciferous vegetable here. You can use broccoli, cauliflower, rapini in my case. You could use collard greens, Brussels sprouts, anything you wanted. But just get your dark leafy greens or your cruciferous vegetables in this broccoli tofu scramble, because that's what makes it broccoli tofu scramble after all. And we need a little green. All right, that looks fantastic. Now, let's put the tofu in. Let's turn this into a scramble. I'm going to do the overhead once more. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it in my hands, really just in the palm of my hand and in my fingers, and I'm just going to crumble it up. And the better that you crumble this up, the more it will look like scrambled eggs, and the more delicious it is. You can, of course, scramble or mush it up a little bit more with your spatula. Do you guys ever do tofu scrambles and use tofu like this? How many people here have? If you haven't yet done it, try it. But those that you have, I want to know like how you prepare. What are the ingredients that you love to use? I am falling in love with tofu scramble. I eat it all the time. It's one of these really flavorful meals. And it's very hearty. It's super full protein, obviously, because of all of the tofu. But I love it. It actually really tastes like, to me, better than scrambled eggs. And I was an egg lover for sure. But now I crave the tofu scrambles instead. My favorite kind of vegan scramble is a tofu scramble. I think for me, it's better even than like a chickpea scramble. That comes close second. But I love tofu scramble. It's just something about the protein content. It makes it taste delicious, and it makes me feel kind of satiated and full for a very long time. So I love that. All right, now my seasonings. I need to add a little bit of dried thyme. Now I'm using French dried thyme here. Here's what it looks like. Throw that in. I'll show you the container. This is from Trader Joe's. You can get it at Whole Foods or any other well-stocked grocery store. And it should say French thyme. Aliza uses turmeric powder, onion, turmeric, pepper, onion, sea salt, and garlic. That sounds really good, sis. I love that. Thank you for sharing. So I'm using French thyme, but you could use, I'm gonna copy you. I'm gonna use a little bit of garlic, just like Eliza just mentioned. This is garlic powder. This is California garlic powder too, so it's super extra flavorful. And here's a wonderful ingredient that is kind of unlikely, but this is gonna pair well with the broccoli. Stone ground mustard. I'm gonna use a tablespoon of this. And I'm telling you, this is really gonna be great. Here's what it looks like. This is Dijon stone ground or whole grain. Really good stuff. I'm gonna add this. And this is gonna really add like a condiment, kind of umami, tangy flavor to the tofu scramble. And now I wanna add just a little bit more of the dark leafy greens. I'm going spinach today, friends. So let me show you how I store my spinach. I'm gonna show you, coming back to you. Here's how I store my spinach. So you can see I have it with a bag in a cup filled with water. So I'm gonna take the bag off. The bag actually acts as the thing that's going to keep the greens of the dark leafy greens really nice and firm and vibrant, okay? You definitely want the bag. But the other important thing is keep it in a glass with water and change this water every single day. And by doing this, friends, you can actually save your spinach or any of your dark leafy greens or any of your soft herbs in a vase or a cup of water, and they will last in your refrigerator for like 6 weeks, okay? It really depends on what it is, but this works for basil, cilantro, parsley. It works for Swiss chard, collard greens. It works for spinach the best. I absolutely love it for spinach. So lots of different ways to hold your greens. You can just get a small little vase or a cup, fill it with water, and then cover it up with a little bag like this, and this is gonna keep it kind of like the bag acts as like the blanket in the refrigerator. It's really great. So just a couple handfuls of this spinach. I have some that's already kind of washed and ready to go here. Look at gorgeous, right? And I'm gonna just take 2 large handfuls of this spinach and I'm gonna throw it right in. So I have it here, the stems and everything. And you can actually just chop this with your hands, which I'm doing because it's gonna wilt up, or you can chop it up with a knife, doesn't matter, but just get it in a couple pieces, throw it in. And then just let this wilt away. Yeah, Cindy, I love it. Cindy Strong says, yes, you do the tofu scramble all the time. You use tofu nooch, which is nutritional yeast, which we added. You guys, this is nutritional yeast. This is what she's talking about when she's saying nooch. And she uses a little mustard. She had it in a breakfast burrito and added spinach. I love this, Cindy. Good idea. I love that you keep making these like wraps or breakfast burritos. Really good idea. It's an awesome way to use up any leftover broccoli tofu scramble. Or that's actually just a wonderful way to showcase the tofu scramble if you want inside of a wrap or anything like that. I know you did it last time we made it a tofu scramble, and I think it worked really well for you as well. So love the wraps, love the burritos, especially the breakfast burritos. And then this is pretty much done. I'm gonna come back to the overhead so that you can really kind of see it up close and personal. I want you to see, I just wilted up the spinach, quite nice. Last but not least, I'm gonna finish this with a little bit of nutritional yeast. This is gonna add just a touch of kind of cheesiness. And then any other leftover seasonings that you want, salt, pepper, black pepper, white pepper, pink pepper. Let me just taste for seasoning. I have it here. Needs a little bit more salt. So I'm just gonna add a touch of the kosher salt and a little bit of the black pepper. I know the ingredients wilted down, but there are a lot of vegetables in here, so don't be afraid to season it up. And if you are whole food plant-based and you can't use salt, just opt in for your favorite salt substitute, right? There's tons on the market. Most of them are seaweed, dried seaweed, and dried vegetable powders, and they're fantastic. They're really flavorful. Okay, this looks wonderful. I think we're ready to plate, and I'm ready to taste, so let me grab my dish here, and I'm just gonna scoop a little bit on the side of my plate. You can serve this up with anything, any toast or bagel, muffin, scone, whatever, or nothing at all. Just have a big plate of broccoli tofu scramble. I think I'm gonna go bagel here, because why the heck not? This is a whole wheat sprouted bagel. Oh, yum. I was dreaming about this in my meditation. I'm so ready to try this tofu scramble. You guys take a look. This is broccoli tofu scramble coming at you in the overhead, in the above camera here. Looks good, right? Piping hot and delicious. Yum. All right. Before I give this a little taste, I want to give this food a little gratitude, and I want to say thank you, food. So grateful. All right, here we go. A little rapini, a little tofu, some shallot here, some of that orange bell pepper. Cheers. So yummy. I'm really glad I added the spinach too at the end because it adds even more of a green, delicious, just really great vegetable flavor. I love this dish, you guys. Please make this on your own. And if you do, take a photo and pop it into our Facebook group, Plant-Based Made Easy. We are really encouraged by all of the different posts and different questions and comments and testimonies that are popping up on our Plant-Based Made Easy Facebook group. So please join us for that. And please come back to the studio and join me on Wednesday. I'm going to be making mushroom stroganoff with a delicious pasta product that I can't wait to tell you about. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Please do check out issue number 7. This is the cookbook. If you want this recipe, it comes right from this cookbook, you guys. And if you want, you can actually subscribe for our monthly cookbook subscription. You will get a new cookbook delivered right to your inbox every single month. You get 20% off the cookbooks if you do it that way. Or you can buy the one-offs, which I highly recommend. These are all digital downloads, and I really hope that you'll enjoy it. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time. Peace.